Yeah! Technical difficulty nightmare leading up to it. But we're here. Look who's back. Look who's back. Can't get her. Fuck it. I can never get it right after all this time. St. Ricketts with fire cannot burn at www.stricketts.com. New music coming soon. What happened? Oh, the fire alarm. Just in time. Oh, yeah. It's been that kind of evening.
It's not a fire alarm. It's so loud. Of course, I have the windows open because it's nice out.
Of course. www.stricketts.com. Okay, whatever. It's just been that kind of night. We just got the whole situation fixed literally 1 minute ago. Well, actually, it's 8:03. Let's say 4 minutes ago. Yeah, 7:59. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Tuesday night live episode of The Yo Show.
Yo.
Whew. Somehow, someway, I am Jeff the Shark Perini, and with me, back in the hot seat tonight, the co-hostess with the mostest, the sister from another mister, and a woman that I've missed so deeply, the one and only Miss Jewel Tatey. Jewel, good evening. Welcome home.
You're not going to say as always, because as always, I'm done.
Oh, you know.
Life
and
happens sometimes.
I know. And I explained, it's this new job of yours. They bounce you around. I get it. I soloed the last couple of times. It happens. No, please.
Dude, I couldn't do it. I applaud you, for real, and thank you for holding the fort down. Yeah, it's been a little crazy, but I'm happy to be back, man.
It's great to have you back, and I appreciate you giving me the slight praise, although it was disastrous. Last week, I got a few messages after the show about my beverage intake and my...
No.
Yes, I did.
Well, if you didn't come to the party, you're in the wrong place.
Exactly. Like, if you're not down, but tonight I had a couple earlier, so I'm slowing down. I got a little Wawa half and half, a little iced tea, a little lemonade. And I had so many technical difficulties, I'm like, yeah, definitely should not be drinking. So here we are.
Yeah, sometimes it's a good idea until it's not a good idea.
I like that. That is the phrase that pays. Yeah, everything in this house from soup to nuts is going weird. There we go. We finally... Okay, we got the show synopsis up there.
I'm digging
anyway.
Oh, is that new?
What's that?
Is the hat new?
No, actually, this one is... I don't wear it much because I like to keep it pretty clean, but in honor of baseball, finally signed the deal and coming back, I got my Phillies hat on tonight.
There you go.
So ready to rock.
When are they going to be back? Soon?
Yeah, their opening day is pretty much on schedule.
Oh.
They're going to play 162 games. Opening day tickets are available as
not aware.
as cheap as like $30-some if you're sitting all the way up top. But for opening day, it's not bad because in the past I've paid.
Let's do Yo Show on opening day.
Yeah, I like it. Can even maybe ask for some favors and maybe throw us on the deck somewhere at Xfinity Live.
Yeah, where's Frank?
I know, right? Where's Frank?
Brother Frank, calling you out, brother.
Yeah, we are calling you out because we want to be at the Phillies game. Right. Yo, showing it up.
We'll just get a table at Live, outside. People can gather. We'll bring our microphones and have a grand time.
I like it. I mean, one night, and we did 2.0, Angela did it from the bar while her pool team was playing, and she did it on her phone, and we did that bar tab trivia. So never count out the Yo Show. You just never know where we're going to show up.
It's such the dream to do, like, trivia or be at a baseball game. Like, that would be it for me.
I agree. Being somewhere, so many ideas that come up. We've been invited to places, but we've got to make sure we get
anywhere but our houses, please.
I know, right?
We have to get out.
Sick of doing it
some way. Yes.
I'm really sick of doing it from my house. Although we've got our backdrops down to a science.
We're too comfortable here.
Yes.
Once you're comfortable, it's time for a new dream.
I like that. And it's funny because, the top five we'll get to in a moment. First of all, let's do some thank yous and pay some tributes. First of all, big tribute payment to our one and only Miss Lydia Manson.
Woo!
I got my Lydia Manson shirt on tonight. We did not make it to HorrorCon. Lydia told me she wasn't going to make it. I told Jewel that it's looked out, and of course, our good friend Stephanie was there,
We
and
also
she
had
made
like a huge snowstorm in March, so go for
right,
it.
which really messed up plans. We'll talk about in a bit. We're supposed to hang out with Jewel at the amazing Murphy's St. Patty's Day party, which was great. I made it there, but I'm close. Jewel's quite a distance, so I was able to make it. We had a great time. Few beers were had.
Pew.
Pew.
Did you lose your skirt?
No, skirt stayed on. Or kilt. Kilt for the folks out there like, skirt. Yeah, kilt. Why? Oh, I see what it did. Okay, never mind.
Shamizel, shamazel.
Yeah, shamizel, shamazel.
Tomato.
I got asked by a lot of people, is there underwear on? I do not go commando, folks. Number one, you never know when that thing falls off.
Well,
Number
I
two,
got
you never
asked-
know when somebody tries to tail it off.
Yeah, I got asked, are you Scottish?
Me?
Yeah.
I know. Everybody's like, you got a little Scottish mixed in with your Irish, with your, I don't know.
Hey, my nieces and nephews are Scottish. I think it's the coolest thing.
I would like to be Scottish. I don't know if I could pull off a Scottish accent, but I'd
Right?
love to be Scottish. Right? I have no idea now. No.
I'm
I
like,
don't know what that was.
No.
That's British.
nope, didn't do it. I'll stop.
I also learned tonight, for the people wondering at home, that I've got these messages of StreamYard's acting up. The viewer counter is off. I don't know, man. Everything
Dude,
that can...
I feel like, yes, I think Mercury's in retrograde or something. All technology is glitching out. It happened with work today. Like, I am just preparing for the worst because...
Mercury is off. Uranus is off.
Mm.
And so many
Scottish.
comical words. There we go. I
Ugh.
forgot to turn my volume down. I heard Joel say Scottish again. Jesus Christ, what a mess. Anyway, let's thank last week's guest, who was a trooper, the wonderful singer Shalea Nicole. She was great. And she put up with a lot of something, apparently.
I'm sorry, girl.
Oh, my sorry girl indeed. She was really good, though. We had a great time.
To rein them in.
She did some work with a lot of big-time musicians and artists, like Elton John and Beyonce, Kanye, like some serious stuff.
I wanted to be here so bad. It sucks so bad. You know that's my wheelhouse. Like, I just... But I'm glad...
Speaking of wheelhouse, sounds like you're getting ready to be heading to the big house.
I swear.
Oh my
I
God,
live
what is
in
going
such
on?
like a quaint little town, and the amount of alarms,
You can,
loud alarms, like,
it's unbelievable.
yeah.
I don't even know what mouse to use. I keep grabbing the wrong mouse. Anyway, tonight on our program, very exciting. This is cool, Jewel Tatey. A fellow who grew up in my hometown of Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania, who then moved out to New York and then California. Great story. He's got a brand new book out called Ruse, Lying the American Dream from Wall Street to Hollywood. Yes. And Joel and I got a copy of it. I read through a good part of it. You know, I am with reading. I just, it doesn't work for me.
Good.
But what I read so far, I like. It's very good. The stories are great.
Yes, it's a book that you could get into. You know.
Yeah, I was getting into it. It's just, I'm just so bad with reading books. Like, my eyes get bad. I get tired. I'm just a lazy piece of shit. Anyway, tonight on our program around 8:30, Mr. Robert Kerbeck. He is the author of this book. We're going to talk all about it, from being a corporate spy and just, it sounds crazy. I don't even know, like, honestly, me, I'm scared to talk about the story. Meanwhile, he lived it.
I know. Lived it, then wrote a book about it,
Right?
and is here to talk about it. I can't.
He came out a while back. Like I said, I know his brother David very well. We're only a year apart in high school, and David also moved out to California. And every once in a while on Facebook, he say, hey, when are you and the missus come to California, blah, 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 blah. So one day Robert reached out and says, hey, man, I'm writing a book. It's a great true story about my life, and I'd love to come on the show and talk about it. And I'm like, let me look into it. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm looking. I'm like, learning what it's about. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Perfect.
It's so chock full of, I mean,
Goodies.
just everything. There's so many names and shows and places. I'm just like, and things going on, and like illegal things and ethical things. Like, what is happening? It's wild.
It really is, and like I said, very excited for that. Around 8:30, Robert Kerbeck, and I'm a little nervous because he's done like some professional interviews with other authors, and
We're professionals. We're very professional.
very professional, especially when we don't drink beverages before the program.
Yeah. Sometimes during and after.
Nice iced tea. So that's around 8:30 tonight. We're going to talk about Ruse. He's got a couple of appearances coming in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, area where you can go out, get the book, get it signed. You could also buy it right now on Amazon, or you could buy it on his website. But I'm going to put it up now. It's supposed to scroll, but it's not scrolling. www.robertkerbeck.com. The book is Ruse out now. And like I said, you can purchase it on the website or Amazon Books. You can meet Robert at the Head House Books, 619 South 2nd Street, Tuesday, March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. And then at Main Point Books, Saturday, March 26th at 3 p.m. 116 North Wayne Avenue in Wayne, PA. Very exciting.
I'm not far from Wayne. I was going to say, March 22nd, that's your show night.
I know, yeah. It is your show night.
Wayne is close, though. We should go to Wayne.
I am down to go to Wayne. If you want to do that on a Saturday, I'm dying to get there. I would like to buy a copy, maybe have him sign it. I would love that. Again, like I said, he sent me a copy, so if I ever want to read it, I read it here. That's where I've been reading it off my laptop. But it'd be cool to have a copy signed. Like we love collecting our little trinkets from our past guests.
We love all of our stuff from our past guests, books especially. I have books from Tiffany Mosher and Eileen, and I would love to. I'm definitely going to buy his book on Amazon, and I would love to have it signed. That's so great. We're just building really our Yosho memorabilia here.
Absolutely. We were even doing the thing, and then somebody made the great point afterwards. Remember, we were doing the script, and I was printing them out, and I would have the guests sign it. And somebody said, why don't you get a color printer and print out a picture of them? And I'm like, damn it.
Yep.
And then shortly after.
COVID.
Yeah, then COVID.
Dude, do you realize that was 2 years ago today?
Yes.
2 years ago today, I moved into this place. So wild. And then we had our last show. Well, you went on because it was like you went on with Emily, but like the one before that was Troy, and we were like, "What is this COVID thing?" And then we
exactly, yeah, we kind of figured larger than life, nothing was going to happen. And then the night Emily was scheduled to come on, it was her birthday, and it was like, "Yeah, after this one, we're done." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You got to shut it down." And really, the Emily one wasn't even really supposed to go live either. Like that was like kind of a favor and keep the lights out, and we'll kind of sneak in it and get it done, which was great. But Jesus Christ, man,
it's been a long 2 years.
It has been. We've done a lot of episodes here. We're at one.
This has been great. This has been a great platform, and we're very grateful.
Absolutely, I love this, despite the difficulties tonight. Like the sound card went blank, the speakers weren't working.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Ain't much you can do. We didn't really. I accidentally forgot my top 5 list. Joe, I don't know if you did yours.
I actually tried to be a little prepared tonight, but it's fine if you don't have yours.
I'll do mine real quick. You can go first. Top 5 jobs or work you'd love to do. Sure, why not?
Okay, it's quick. Okay. Number 5. I always wanted to be like a voiceover actor, like a cartoon actor.
Oh, I
think that would be the funnest job ever. But I have a horrible voice, so
I like that though. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'd probably be like Muttley the dog or some mumbling buffoon. I would love to do like what's his name? D. Bradley Baker works on Avatar, and he works on all these cool cartoons, but he does like animal noises, and he just gets paid to do like
See, you're a natural.
And everyone loves him. I'm like, that'd be the best job, to show up in your pajamas and do voiceover.
We could bring back I'm gonna butcher his name, but I think it's Maccabee Griffin. He did an episode of that show that I was doing with Maria Daniels that Talk Creative to me in the afternoon. And he's a voiceover actor. That's what he does. And I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he's got a show. And dude,
I swear. If I could be like, oh my God, if I could be like Wonder Woman or one of the Sailor Scouts, please, I'd be done. My life would be fulfilled. All right, number 4. I really wanted to go to school to be a music engineer and just get in there and learn the boards and all the platforms, but I went to Penn State, so I heard Temple had a great program though, so I tried to switch to Temple, and then that was a no-go, so that didn't end up being my career.
Music engineer, she studied broadcasting, ended up here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wait, do you hear the rest? So number 3 would be a DJ, like a beloved DJ.
Yeah, I get you.
People would turn to me and be like, I just want to know whatever song that is because you have great taste. And my DJ name would be DJ IDGAF because I would just play what I wanted to play. And you would love it because it's great music that I would play. Number 2, an artist, like not a starving artist. I would just love to illustrate, be an illustrator or a painter. I love painting.
Yeah.
It soothes me, and to get paid buku bucks to just paint all day would be a dream. I tried that. I worked at Painting with a Twist. They make out all right.
Oh, yeah.
The weekends are kind of screwed. And number 1, exactly what I'm doing right now is just being a yo show host.
Well, we'll go with radio host.
Seriously, no, I'm not shitting you because this is the dream. We find fantastic acts and amazing artists, and if I could do this full time, God damn it, I would.
I agree. If there was any way to get some money out of this one, maybe it's Robert Kerbeck, how we could ruse people.
How do we ruse? How do we become liars?
The other day I had one of those, those Facebook arguments with people because I butted in where I didn't belong. And of course this girl decided to research me. She's like, oh, number 1 show. I think your show's garbage. So I said, okay, well, I said, send me a link to your show. I'd love to listen to it. And she got real quiet and didn't say nothing. They had like 10 minutes. Comes back like, I don't have one. I'm like, exactly. Don't knock who do.
You're garbage. That's
good evening. Yeah, call it garbage.
JD
Wolf. JD Wolf 69. That's so dirty. That's one scary looking wolf.
I have a feeling one of us knows this person.
We do. It's part of the sepsis gang.
Oh, hey.
Yes. Sepsis. They're wonderful. Jewel, by the way. Good evening, Miss Joint. Nice Band-Aid on your nose.
Right, enjoy.
I didn't put the link up. I was supposed to put the link up. April 20th, the 420 Fest, Sepsis, and a few other bands are coming to Atlantic City. You have to try and get the day off, something of that nature. No. I got to go down. April 20th. It's the 420 Fest in Atlantic City.
I'm taking off tomorrow. I will be
I have to see this band and meet them.
What day is that?
It's a Wednesday, as far as I know.
Oh, come on, man. Wednesday?
Let me check. Let me double check. Let me double check my calendar. It is Wednesday, April the 20th. It's the 420 Fest. It is going to be in Atlantic City.
And Sepsis is going to be there.
And Sepsis is going to be there. Matter of fact, they put
out of town.
They put an ad up. They said looking for bands to play with us in the 420 performance. And I, of course, tagged St. Ricketts. I don't know what happened there. You will not be disappointed. Sepsis is the best. I agree.
We know more people. If St. Ricketts can't make it, because I know they have responsibilities,
yeah, I will message Melissa and ask if they have found somebody yet. Yeah, oh my God, there's so many possibilities. I finally tuned into their channel the other day too on Twitch. I'm so bad with Twitch, but Melissa posted they were on Twitch. I jumped on. I watched their channel. They're really good. They're just great people, great talents. They're fun. They're funny. They're loving to us. They've been great to us. I can't thank them enough for all the support. And we definitely got to try and make our way there. Meet them in person.
Bye.
make sure you hit the subscribe button and the race. Don't break your screen. And make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, it'll look like
Red to gray.
red to gray.
Yeah.
Red to gray.
Subscribe. Do you guys listen to her? Like, hit the subscribe.
Yeah.
Make it from red to gray. Turn on the notifications so you get updates on when the Yo Show posts. And Yo 2.0 and Josephine's World. Go over there, check that out, and like and comment. It
Yeah,
really
we've got a few hundred. We've got tens of thousands of views, and like.
If you want to buy some of the Yo Show merch, just comment down below.
Yeah, we got to work on merch.
We all want Yo Show. Even I want Yo Show merch. And Joel and I started this project. I don't have it. All right, so let me crush through my top 5 jobs real quick. Number 5, fireman. And I know it sounds dangerous and scary, but number 1, you're a big hero. Number 2, chicks love firemen. I mean, I'm married now, so it doesn't matter. But when I was younger.
I dated a fireman.
Number 4, of course, like Joel said, I want to be like a broadcast host, a podcast host, a webcast host, like this. Like, I love this.
Oh, this is only number 4? Let's see how it is.
Yeah, and there's a reason why. Because at number 3, and you're going to laugh, I've always wanted to be a priest. And you know why? Always wanted to sit in a confessional and listen to people spill their shit. Like, I couldn't even begin to imagine. Yeah, I know you like that one. But I always wanted to, get the dirt. I'd be like modern day priest. I'd be like holding my cell phone in there during the
Do you
confessional.
really think you're going to get the dish by sitting in the confessional? You think people are honest in a confessional? And you're sadly mistaken.
Are you telling me people lie? Lie in a confessional?
I cursed once, and
I'm a lot better this week than I was last week. Trust me, I'm okay. But I agree.
It's been 20 years since my last confession.
Oh, dude, mine's been, I don't even know. So let me kill the last couple real quick because I see our guest is backstage. Number 2, actor, of course, acting. This
What's
is
your dream role, Jeff? What would that be?
What's my dream role? More of a super villain than a superhero. I think it's more me. I'm too short and whiny to be a superhero.
Rainy, the damager.
And number 1 is athlete. Any athlete, any sport. Athlete.
Oh, I didn't pick athlete. God dang it.
See that?
I dreamed of being an athlete, and then I got hurt in high school, so that dream was long dashed away.
Kind of a sloppy top 5, but we will rerun it real quick. Jules' top 5: voice over, actress, music engineer, DJ, artist, and radio host, podcast host, Josephine Rogan, something of that nature. Jeff went with fireman, broadcaster, priest, actor, and athlete. One thing I would love to be, Jewel, and our guest tonight is just that, is a great author and a writer. Like, I always tried to write, and I get so lost in my thoughts. But I guess when you're writing about what he wrote about, his story and his past and his life, it really just flows. And I'm dying to hear about every piece of it. The brand new book is called Ruse, Lying the American Dream, From Hollywood to Wall Street. And its author, a former Lower Moreland fellow, quite like myself. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our special guest, Mr. Robert Kerbeck.
Hello.
Oh, we can't. We can't hear you. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're muted. I'm trying to unmute you.
Might be in.
There we go.
There we go. Now we're on. Right. Perfect.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Eagles.
Got his Eagles garb on. Absolutely perfect. That is awesome. Way to bring out the Phillies show and pay homage to our great city. You know, it was great. You had reached out a little while back and you said you had this book coming out. And I said, well, let me know and let's get to it. And now it's out. And it's going to scroll on the bottom. It's called Ruse, R-U-S-E, obviously. And it's out now on Amazon Books. You can get it on your website that I got listed down there as well. An amazing story, and I don't even know where to begin, dude. It's so wild. You started out as like I said, a Lower Moreland kid like me, and then you made your way to college and then out to New York. And tell us a little something about the start before you got into the Ruse. Tell us kind of like growing up and your direction.
Yeah, well, look, I went to high school with your brother, right? We played football together.
Yeah.
And my family, the Kerbeck family, is a little bit known in the Philadelphia area with the automobiles.
Slightly, yeah.
Slightly. My great grandfather came over from Armenia and sold horse carriages in Philadelphia before cars were invented. And then he switched to selling cars because he saw the writing on the wall. And then my grandfather took over that business. Then my father took over that business, and I was supposed to take over that business. But it just wasn't for me. Like, I just had a little trouble with the, kind of car sales, little trickery, and it's can be a little, a little dishonest. And I really wanted to be an actor. I'd gotten bitten by the acting bug in college at Penn in Philly, and so I moved to New York. And of course, I needed a survival job. My father wasn't paying any of my bills, and I was on my own. And who stumbles into a job as a corporate spy? But that's exactly what I did. And and then it kind of went on from there. And all the time I was working as an actor, and I had a bit of a career, and I killed George Clooney on the show Sisters so he could move on to the show that you never heard of called ER.
Never. What?
I worked with O.J. Simpson the week before he became America's most famous double murderer. Kevin Spacey hit on me.
Wow.
It was quite a successful career.
But
I heard Spacey can be a little violent, so it's probably a good thing you didn't go down that road.
I want to go back to the beginning because, just the beginning is so fascinating. And if you're from where we're from, then you get it, because I'm also a Philly kid. So just your lingo and the hoagies and, your dad and him wanting you to just follow the path and you be a car salesman. But you did, and you paid your way through Penn. But I love the part where you said you didn't have a monologue prepared. So you just spoke Hard to Be a Saint in the City. I'm a huge Springsteen fan. That was hilarious to me because all of his songs could be monologues. And obviously you're a fan. So
I'm a huge fan of Bruce. And I think almost all of his songs, forget about monologues, they could be films. Like a 4-minute song could be a 2-hour movie with Bruce Springsteen. He's
I don't know half his lyrics, and I've been listening to him.
Yeah, me too. If I started to sing, Hard to Be a Saint, I would only get one line right, but I'd make something happen. But and that's the cool thing about growing up when we did. We were there kind of at the heyday of Bruce. And the heyday of rock and roll for sure, and going to see shows at the Spectrum, going to see the Flyers, at the Spectrum, going downtown when the Sixers won the championship in '83. Just a lot of amazing memories. And I'm really excited to come back next week for these book events because they're going to be like mini reunions because not only did I grow up there, not only did I go to high school there, I went to college there. Some of my best friends still live in Philadelphia to this day. So it's really exciting for me.
That's awesome. One of the locations is down below in the scroll, and I ran out of space, so I have it there. And I'm going to pop it up a couple of times so everybody knows where to find you coming in. That's March 22nd is the one. The other one is March 26th, a little closer to where Jewel is. We might make it there. At Main Point Books Saturday for autograph signing. We're going to talk about the books. And it's great because I admit I am not a great reader. I lose my track when I read, but I got into this, and I was getting through a lot of them. Like, man, this is really good. Then you start reading some of the reviews, and there's some great reviews, and a lot of people really hit it on the head. I'm trying to think what direction to go with the question, because I don't want to give it all out right now and kind of lead into it. Right. But some people said, this can't be real. Some people said, this is just some arrogant guy making up a story. I mean, you read the reviews, and you're like, yeah, okay. But, like, nobody can make that stuff up.
Right.
How did you get in? How did you get into this?
Yes. So my college roommate's brother was living in New York. He was an actor. I didn't know anybody in New York. I didn't know anybody that'd been an actor. So when I went up there, he was the only guy I knew. And he had this mysterious job, and he kind of wouldn't tell me what it was. And I needed a job. I was a broke actor. And so he got me an interview with this woman, and I go up to her apartment on the Upper East Side, and she's got a doorman building, and her apartment's gorgeous. And I'm like, well,
Swanky.
whatever she's doing, she's making money, and then, so here I am. I literally, this is how long ago, I had a briefcase with my resume in it, right? But she doesn't ask me for the resume. She doesn't ask me any questions about my skills or anything. She asked me about my relationship with my father, because she had gotten the sense that because I had left the car business, he was not very happy with me, right? So she sends me on my way, and I figure, well, I didn't get that job, but my buddy calls and says, no, you got the job. And I'm like, oh, great. Well, I guess I did impress her after all. And he says, no, she hires everyone because nobody can do this job.
Wow.
And then the next day I started training, and then I began to realize what we were doing is we were actors. She only hired actors. In the beginning, she only hired women because she thought only women could do this kind of spying. And I just did a virtual event with former CIA spy Valerie Plame, who also went to Lower Moreland High School.
Yes. Yes.
And Valerie and I did this event together, and she said the same thing. She said that female CIA spies were much more successful than the male spies, which I was like, wow, that was the same for my business too. And she said, yeah, of course, because women are better at it. She said women were able to reflect and deflect better than men. They could kind of be more empathetic and go with the flow, and guys would kind of get their ego involved. Jules looking at me like, yeah,
she's feeling it.
But yeah, no, look, the book is all true. I say it's an honest book about lying. But we basically were spying for corporations. We all know the Russians spy on the Chinese spy on us, but most people don't realize that major American corporations and international corporations are spending tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year to spy on each other. And that's what we were doing. We would find out whatever our clients wanted to find out, right? Who the top people were, their private cell phone numbers, what the plans of the company, were they expanding, were they contracting, were they hiring, were they looking at acquisitions, were there shenanigans going on, were executives in trouble, were they having affairs, anything that our clients wanted to know, we would find out. Imagine like one football team getting the playbook on the other on another team, right? And of course, I should have been hired for that job, and I could have gotten the Cowboys playbook a couple of years, and that might have helped us.
Could have used it. It's really funny because you said in the beginning you didn't want to get into car sales, you couldn't be dishonest, you didn't think you could handle it, and then you get into the corporate spy world. And I heard some of the stories like you would call and get like a random secretary. You thought you can kind of work your way around. Was there a script, or was it just so up in your head and just rapid fire on how to work your way around people?
Well, we started with really kind of sort of innocuous ploys. We were a student and we were working on a paper and we needed help. And we just weren't getting a lot of information, as you can imagine. People would either laugh at you or hang up on you. Sure. These are major Wall Street firms. These are people that are making a lot of money. These are people that have advanced degrees. They're not giving it, private company information to a student, right? So we began to kind of up our game and go like, well, what would make this person give this information up? What would I have to say? And we started experimenting with these ploys, which got more and more sophisticated. And we went deeper and deeper into corporate espionage. And as you correctly point out, it ended up being far more dishonest than car sales.
Absolutely.
And then you talk about Y2k and digital transparency. And while I'm reading the book, I'm thinking like it's easier to find information about people like nowadays even. Yeah. But like, are they fact checking you as they're doing this, or are you just finding that like that person who's wishy-washy will give away the goods?
Right. So I say I was LinkedIn before LinkedIn was invented, and we forget that LinkedIn is still relatively new. It really started right before the crash of 2008, and then it took off after the crash because everybody lost their job, or they were afraid they were going to lose a job, so everybody went on LinkedIn, right? But until then, there was no way to find out corporate information, who worked at a company, who was on a team, what the team did, who the top people on the team were, what was the revenue of specific teams within a firm, right? And so all of that information was really valuable information. And so, sometimes back in the early days, we could call and we could be from somebody outside the firm and get information. But we began to realize as we got deeper and deeper into it that if we were impersonating somebody that actually existed in a firm, we had a much better chance of getting that information. And so being actors, we would, like if I called up some big executive that I knew ran a group that, it would make sense that this guy might need some information. And I would listen to his voicemail and I could hear his voice and I go, okay, I can mimic that voice.
Wow.
I can do that. I can do that little accent he's got. Oh, I can tell he's from Boston. I'm going to do a little act, And sometimes we put on even more outlandish accents. I had this whole thing I would do, I was Gerhard, calling from the office in Frankfurt. We have the U.S. regulators here for us to speak, and they want all this information. This we must have for the records, because many of these firms are global conglomerates, and they have offices in Frankfurt and Berlin and Dusseldorf and Paris and London, right? So you could be, and it sounds like a crazy ploy. And the funny thing is, the more outlandish the ploy was, the more believable it was. Like, wait a second, what are the odds that this guy is pretending to call from Frankfurt and doing a German accent? Like, no, this guy's got to be real, right? And it wasn't real.
That is unbelievable. You had mentioned some names of actors. Their actors' names get thrown out there. Paul Newman. You're walking around. He says set of ER George Clooney. You laughed at this one. You went to a Dodgers game with J-Lo.
Yes. Yeah. I hope my wife's not going to watch this program.
I was going to say, Phil and us guys. I mean, my wife's watching, but I'm not going to lie. I would still go to a game with J-Lo.
Get out of here.
Well, she was amazing, really beautiful, very, very sweet, very kind, magnetic, charismatic. I mean, it's not rocket science to see why she became one of the biggest stars in the world. I mean, she was just lovely. I was kind of interested in her. She had zero interest in me. She was quite interested in baseball, though, which makes a lot of sense because later on she married A-Rod, right?
Right. Yeah. So
Shipping them.
Now I got to ask. Now you said you hope your wife's not watching. Mine might be watching. Jewel, no disrespect, but how many times during that night did you give it the old? And get that butt a little. I've been doing it all my disrespect. I've been doing it all night.
The wave again.
Keep waving.
Well, I mean, I think I was just, sort of starstruck, even though she wasn't a star. And I think that's the thing that, I've met other people like that I worked with, that you could see the star, you could feel the star presence. And she had that, and she wasn't a star then. She had worked, but she wasn't a star. But she just had star written all over her. And I can't say enough nice things. I mean, I didn't, hang out with her that much, but a bit. And I have to say also, in the book, there are plenty of other stars who were not so nice and were not so kind and were horrible people. And J-Lo was the opposite.
That's awesome. Now, I know you don't want to go out and name the names that probably weren't good, but
why wouldn't I? Aren't we on the?
I don't know because I saw the name Kevin Spacey. I can only imagine.
Well, he was also a predator, so screw Kevin.
Right.
Spacey.
So I can imagine.
Yeah. So Kevin Spacey, we did a reading together at this famous New York restaurant called Sardi's.
Sure.
Sardi, right? Sardi's, and
yes.
They have a room in the back where they do readings for Broadway backers for Broadway shows. And so we did this reading with Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey was playing Brian Epstein, who is the manager of the Beatles. So it was a play about the Beatles, even though the Beatles were never in the play. It was about the manager of Brian Epstein who committed suicide, right? And so it's
right.
I think the play takes place on the night that he kills himself, right?
Wow.
So it's a great idea for a play. I mean, powerful material, and I think we'd be interested in seeing that. It was a good play. And we did the reading for this backer thing, and I had a very insignificant part. But Kevin came up to me afterwards like I was a steak on the Sardi's menu, and was very solicitous. And what he did, what was wrong, is he was utilizing his sort of fame and fortune rather than just saying, hey, I think you're cool. I think you're interesting. I think you're, cute or whatever he wanted to say. Would you like to go out and have a drink? Would you like to go out and have coffee? There's nothing wrong with that. But instead of saying all that, because at the time he was in the closet and he was trying to pretend that he was a straight man so he could make it in Hollywood, which I also kind of understand back in the day. But, he was in the closet, and so he couldn't say any of that stuff. So he was saying stuff like, you know what, I want to help you get an agent. You're really talented. You're really special. You know what, why don't you come up to my place? Come up to my place and we'll talk about your career, because I'm going to help you with your career, right? And we've heard now, Jewel, right? We've heard all of the Me Too stories, which are just like those stories, right? And so it's basically the kind of the reverse Me Too.
Wow.
It just gets under my skin so bad. But I'm glad that the truth came out about him. And
that I didn't go up to his place. Right?
Sure.
Because the Philly in me saw the writing on that wall pretty clearly.
There you go. That's what it takes, I think, is the Philly in a person to just.
Yeah.
But I want to say, because you have that insane job, and then just meeting all the people and like coinciding with acting, like, did anything rattle your cages back then? Like, did you ever get flustered or overwhelmed? Like, I can't believe, like, someone to have a cool head with all of that business going on.
Yeah, I mean, there were some moments where I was definitely shaken, right? Like after the OJ thing. So here I'm working with OJ Simpson. I do this exercise video with him, which later was subpoenaed and part of his trial.
Wow.
And then when they did the FX series with Cuba Gooding, they recreated the exercise video that I was in, which means an actor got paid to play me.
Wow.
Which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But when I do this exercise video with OJ, I don't know why there are, 50 people on this set, but somehow OJ bonded to me and I became his best friend. And everything was, hey, Rob, hey, Rob, hey, Rob, hey, Rob. And I was like, oh my God, like OJ, like, he's like my best friend. And he was about to do this new TV series. It was called Frogmen, where he played, get ready for this, a knife expert. Right. You can't make that up. You can't make that up. Okay. And so he's showing me. He had like a videotape. This is how long ago it was, mid-90s. He's got a videotape of this Frogman series, and he's playing it for me. Nobody else. Just me and him sitting there watching his pilot, and it was pretty bad. It wasn't very good. But in the back of my head, I'm like, God, OJ can probably get me a job on this series, Yeah. And I'm, and then when we finish, I'm thinking like, well, I'm going to follow up with him, and he'd love me. He's going to get me a job on Frogman. And then, like, 10 days later, he's in the Bronco trying to escape down the 405 freeway, and I'm literally like, I cannot believe I just worked with this guy that has murdered 2 people.
Wow. It's crazy. Instead of, and it sounds sick, but you got to say it anyway. Let's say he calls you. He's like, hey, Rob, it's OJ. You're like, oh, my God, this is it. Yeah, I need you to bring over your Bronco and get me the hell out of town. You could have been that guy. You could have been the guy driving them out of town. Oh, my God.
That's right. Yeah,
that's
hey, Rob,
crazy.
you have a shovel?
An extra glove.
Right, extra glove. Oh, my God. So, like, during the time of the corporate espionage, the corporate spying thing, were there ever moments, what's, like, the diciest situation you ever got into? Like, you thought you were going to get caught or something bad was about to happen. But give us like your most challenging story.
Yeah, so the book goes kind of in and out. Like one chapter is corporate espionage, then we have George Clooney, then corporate espionage, then we have O.J. Simpson. Corporate espionage, because I kept working as an actor, and I kept saying, oh, this spying job is just temporary. I'm about to get rid of it because I'm starting to make money as an actor, and I'm really close to making it. And then all of a sudden I have a little dry spell, and I'd be like, ooh, thank God I kept this other job, right? But the scariest moment, and there were a number of scary moments, but the scariest moment was at one point, me and my buddy, the guy that got me the job, my brother's college roommate, in the book he's called Pax. Pax and I were being hunted by the authorities who thought we were the world's most famous hacker, right?
Wow.
And we were simply actors with the gift of gab, okay? We were not hackers, right? But there was this hacker who authorities thought was trying to shut down the internet. And again, this is like late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, when the internet had just kind of, gone live and was becoming accessible. And this guy was running around and hacking into corporations and damaging their systems. And they thought that we were this hacker that they were hunting for, and he was on the lam. His name is Kevin Mitnick, and he's a very famous cybersecurity guy today. But right around this time that they approached us and the authorities came after us, they finally caught him. Thank God they caught him. And then they sent him to jail. He went to jail as a domestic terrorist. They put him in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day, and he was in jail for years. So that was obviously like a real wake-up call. Like, here we thought this thing was, well, we're just kind of helping people get better jobs. It's not that bad. It's in the gray area. And then all of a sudden we were like, whoa, we misjudged this threat completely.
That's scary. I mean, it's kind of like being an actor, it's kind of like the sitcom thing, what could possibly go wrong? And like later they flip the screen, the other guy's in jail, and you're like, wow, that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
Has there been any other instances where you're mistaken for someone else
well, I mean, there have been a lot of times where we've had close calls, but what I always did, because what we're trying to do in a perfect world is, I'm calling a corporation, and I started targeting the executives rather than the assistants or the receptionists, because the assistants and receptionists, they're trained not to release information, right? And so they're gatekeepers. That's their job. And so, they really followed their job, and they were tough, and they wouldn't give information out. But I would call the big shot executive, who went to Harvard. He's got an MBA from Harvard, and you would think that guy would never tell you anything, and yet I would kind of bro it up and be like a fellow exec, but I'm jammed up, buddy. I need you to help me out, bro. And these guys would just blah 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 blah, telling me everything, and it would just amaze me, how easy it was sometimes to get these guys to tell me information. But every once in a while, they would sense the gig, and they would be furious that they had been duped, and they would go ballistic, and they would make a lot of threats. And I tried not to have that happen, because, in a perfect call, I call you, I kind of do this ruse. You believe I am who I say I am. You give me the information. You, at the end of the call, you're not only are you thanking me, but you're saying, hey, if you need anything else, call me back. Right. And that's the ideal call, where there's no red flags, no alarms going off. But every once in a while it got hot.
Wow.
Like,
Did you ever
principle too.
Okay. Did you ever find yourself at a point where, I think I got to put this directly, you're in so deep in it, you get good at it, you're making a lot of money at it. Is there ever a point where you started to not really know who you were? Like you got so lost up in it?
Well, I made a really conscious decision early on, because, I didn't get into this job to make money. It was a survival job. Now, look, eventually it turned into this incredibly lucrative business, but I had no idea that was going to happen. It's just our spying and the quality of information we were getting, people started hearing about it, and corporations started going, oh my God, you can find out this, you can find out that. And they basically started throwing money at me.
Wow.
But I always made a decision from the beginning that I wasn't going to ruse, in my personal life. I was going to go and just go, look, this is the day job. I'm not making up personas outside of this work scenario. I'm not rusing my next door neighbor. I'm not rusing my buddy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that.
Was it tempting? Because when you realize, I guess, how would I say it the best? When you realize you can do it, it's got to be tempting to just get anybody whenever you want something, just kind of get somebody at your beck and call.
Jeff, I'm afraid if you had that ability.
Oh, I know, me too. Thank God I don't have that.
Get whatever you want.
Yeah, see, poor Jewel naked next week on the Yosha.
I think if you have the ability to charm people and convince people you are someone that is important, or they have some tangential connection to that would make them feel like they have to help you, all of a sudden now, what couldn't you get? You could get tickets to a game. You know what I mean? You could get somebody to tell you their credit card number. You
writing
could,
all
you know,
this down. Take it.
yeah. You know, I mean, these are all the things that you could do. And by the way, people do this stuff all the time. And, you know, one of the things I've been doing now is I've been doing some cybercrime podcasts, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I do on those, I was really fortunate. The man that wrote Catch Me If You Can, he wrote the book that got made into the famous movie. You know, he was obviously doing kind of crazy scams when he was a young guy. And then he turned and worked for the FBI. And he's worked for the FBI for like 30 years. And he gave me a blurb for my book, Ruse, a really kind blurb. Look,
He did. I saw it was great.
Yeah, he's right at the top. He gave me this amazing blurb, and so now I'm kind of doing the same thing, and where I say, hey, here's some tips so you don't get scammed, right? So that you're not falling victim, because it's amazing, you know, that really smart people, you know, somebody calls them up and they know just enough about you to convince you, because they're like, well, how would they have known this and how would they have known that? And yet they've done research on you, right? They've researched you, and that's what we used to do all the time. Is we would do all of this research. Like I didn't just pick up the phone and hit the German accent or hit the Irish accent. No, I researched who I was going to call, what their story was, you know, where they were from, what sports teams they might be into, what you know, I would do all of this research so that when I got that person on the phone, I had a lot of ammunition to sweet talk them, charm them into giving me the information that I wanted.
Wow.
And yeah, staying up to date with current events in that area, like I read that part too. And then yeah, and you mentioned Jordan Belfort too.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing without the research though. They would just like smooth talk their way into.
Yeah, and I mean the difference with Jordan is, you know, I mean he was stealing money from old people, and you know, and I didn't do anything like that. I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't dishonest, because I was, but you know, I was hitting major American corporations, and so I didn't, you know, I mean, like I said, I'm not proud of what I did, though it's a hell of a good story, but you know, I think that was how I rationalized it. Is look, you know, Wells Fargo or Goldman Sachs, you know, they're dinging us all the time. You know, Wells Fargo had that thing not long ago where they were opening 15, 20, 30 accounts in one person's name, right? You know, you can make an argument that the greed of Wall Street, you know, directly contributed to the crash of 2008 when so many people lost their jobs and lost money in the stock market, right? So I didn't feel too bad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, you're making your living, you just kind of get into it, and then you realize you're good at it. So it rolls along, and I can understand that. Is there ever a time, because you said you made all this money and you were acting, then the acting went away. Is there ever a time you're like, I kind of regret all that?
You know, I wouldn't do it today, right? I would make a different choice today. And as I said, I'm not proud of it, but you know, you can't really live life in the rearview mirror, right? So, you know, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be on these cybercrime podcasts, you know, talking about things that, you know, so it is what it is. It's how life goes sometimes. You know, and like I said, you know, I wrote the book, you know, we've all been through this, you know, this terrible time with COVID. And so I really wanted to write a book that was fun. I wanted to write a book that was a page turner. I wanted to write a book that was kind of easy for people to read. And easy in a good way. It's not like it's a simplistic book, you know. And I also wanted to write a book that was kind of for guys, you know. I feel like, you know, women read more than men. It's just a fact. And so I wanted to write a book that, you know, a guy like you, Jeff, would pick it up and go, hey, you know, this is fun. You know, this is cool. So
I'm far from done with it. I mean, I'm definitely in it.
Yeah. Like this is a book that you could actually get into. Him as himself, like he would delve into it. And I did have a question though. Did you ever hear of like some extra security measures that you may have caused?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah. So when we used to call companies, right, what we learned was if I dialed one number, right, I would dial the operator first, and then the operator would transfer me to a phone number, right? And I would get transferred to a number that I didn't want information from. And then somebody would answer the phone and go, you know, Tom Smith's office. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the operator transferred me the wrong number. I'm so sorry to bother you. And, the assistant would say, well, what number did you want? I'll transfer you over. Oh, that's so nice of you. You're amazing. And then I give them the number that I really wanted, and they would transfer me that number. Now I'm getting transferred from Tom Smith's office. So on the internal dial would say Tom Smith's office. So now the reception would answer, and she'd go, Rick's office. And I'd go, oh, hey, it's Tom Smith. And the direct dial would say Tom Smith. And so she would, or he would go, oh, of course it's Tom. It's proven. It's right here on my thing. It says Tom Smith. And so that was a trick that we learned and was really successful. And the corporations figured it out, and they eliminated that. So that eventually we had, that was kind of good for a couple of years, and then that was gone,
Let's hope you.
But we were, we were constantly evolving. Right before the change from 1999 to 2000, everybody was worried about Y2k and computers weren't going to work. And boy, we utilized that to our advantage for a couple of years there too. Even after 2000, we were still like, hey, we had a couple of glitches with the system from the Y2k, and it looks like the bug that we thought was going to happen then might even happen now a year later. So we got to fix it. Help us out. Give me this data.
Awesome. We got one. We got one book sold. Awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you, JD.
And because a lot of people watch this live. A lot of people watch the recording afterwards. So I'm going to say, if you're watching the recording afterwards, me and Joe are already robbing you, thief, dumb, and blind. We're calling your house, and we got all the tricks. We're ready to come get you. But so, at what point did writing come up? Because you've won awards, you've got some great accolades for your writing and past books, and then this. Did you work your way into that and say, you know what, let me tell my story, or is telling your story behind it at all points? Like, I want to get into writing and just tell this story.
Yeah, so, I was an English major originally in college, but I couldn't sit still long enough to write, right? A young guy. I wanted to meet women, so where are there going to be, lots of women, the theater. Turned out that was a very good decision because there were a lot of women there. Highly recommend you, go do a play, go community theater. Always more women in the theater than men. And then I never wrote anything. And, throughout the book, you go through the story. And at one point I kind of have my personal midlife crisis moment. And in that moment, in my lowest moment, I sat down and I wrote a suicide note. But I wasn't writing a suicide note. I was writing this note in the voice of this crazy character that kind of came through me. And I channeled my own kind of sadness and depression into the voice of this character. And I showed it to an actor friend, and he's like, this is pretty good. You should write this character. And so I wrote this book with this character, and the book was pretty bad. It was rough. But the story was great. The character was compelling. And so I went, wait a second, there's something here, and so then I kind of got back into writing, and I went to some writers' conferences, and I started a writers group, and I kind of kept, honing my craft. And I always loved reading short stories as a kid. And so I started writing those, and they started getting published. And I wrote some essays, and they got published. And then in 2018, we had this terrible fire in Malibu that burned down half the town, 2/3 of my neighborhood, 17 of 19 houses on my street. And my wife and child and I fought the fire, and we saved our house.
Wow.
And the LA Times asked me if I would write an essay about it, and I did, and it got published. And then a publisher read that essay, and they said, will you write a book on the fire? And so I wrote Malibu Burning. And then after Malibu Burning, I had already kind of started Ruse, but I hadn't finished it. And then I came back and I finished Ruse.
Incredible.
And how fulfilling was that, just to get your full life story out? Was it therapeutic for you? Do you enjoy writing now? And will there be another book?
Yeah, it was very therapeutic. And it felt good to, like I said, it felt good to, kind of, get some of those secrets out and tell the truth about the ruse. Like I said, I've written an honest book about lying. Not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm writing, we actually pitched a studio today for a Ruse TV series. It went very well.
Wow.
So keep your fingers crossed.
That's very doable, though, too. That's awesome.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I mean, I think, like I said, I think it'd be a really fun story. People love Billions. They love Succession. It's kind of right in that kind of world. And maybe throw
the build-up of the
little
internet too. That's big right now too, with Pam and Tommy and all that, and all the information leakage.
Right. And my book is it's kind of like two books. It's this corporate spying, but then it's also the Hollywood tell-all, right? So you kind of have like celebrities and spying, so you kind of get two stories for the price of one. So I'm looking forward. I'm hoping that happens because I want to be involved with that. And I have another book that's almost finished about that. The guy that started me, kind of the crazy suicide note guy. I finally went back and finished that book. And that's about a renegade rock and roll, world-renowned antique Islamic carpet expert and his train wreck of a life. He's known as the Indiana Jones of rugs. And the book is
everybody does that nowadays.
Yeah. And the book is called Sex, Rugs, and Rock and Roll.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to put a couple of these banners up. Don't know how big they come out, but here's the one here that I was speaking of. Tuesday, March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Head House Books, 619 South 2nd Street in Philadelphia. Obviously, Robert will be there talking about Ruse. And then the other one here is Main Point Books, Saturday, March 26th at 3 p.m. Jewel and I will be there, most hopefully, if all goes well. That's Main Point Books at 116 North Wayne Avenue, Wayne, PA. You're going to get to meet Robert Kerbeck, the author of Ruse and some other great books. Dude, I can't thank you enough. I definitely want to invite you back when more pieces come on, because this was outstanding, and I'm telling you, I got to get geared up one time to do it for like 2 hours, or maybe like not this time in town, maybe another time in town when we have a little studio set up. Come sit with us, man, and just let it rip. Because this has just been it's been a blast. And when, like I said, when you came to me a few months back, said, "Hey, I got some books. How about it?" I'm nervous because I'm not a great book reader, but so worthwhile. The stories are fun, and you got a positive feel about it. Like I said, it was a rise, it was a fall, but you're so confident about it. The write-ups are amazing. The critics had nothing but great things to say. The people do, except for that one clown who was like, this guy's got an ego. Well, you can't please them all. Well, trust me, every Tuesday night I learned you can't please them all. But not really, it was great, and this little chat was everything I had hoped for. www.robertkerbeck.com. You can order your copy of Ruse from there and learn more about Robert and his books. You can get it on Amazon. There's a spoken word one where you narrate it yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's more my speed, because I definitely listen.
Yeah, right. Now, look, I love Audible too, because especially nonfiction, if the author reads their own work, because you really get the feeling behind it, and that's why I wanted to read it myself, because it's my story,
And that's, coming into this, and like I said, we do some research, you read clippets, and you look into your stuff, and I'm like, what am I going to get? Am I going to get a guy who kind of shades questions and still has that corporate spy thing, but you're direct, you're honest, you know the story that you're back in. It's a beautiful thing, and like, this was a blast. I usually say 20 to 30 minutes. We're way past that, but I was having a good time. But like I said, we're going to try to get to you at the bookstore in Wayne. If not, we'd love to invite you on sometime again and do it all over. Your brother keeps inviting me out to California. Going to try that sometime as well. Bring the wife and maybe kick a beer back or something.
Too, yeah.
Hey,
and
I know people. I think
I think the biggest thing about the events is we're going to hang out afterwards, right? We're coming out of COVID. We need to hang out with people. We need to hug people. We need to drink beers with people. And so, it's not really about the book. It's really about connecting with friends, making new friends, reconnecting with old friends. So it'd be great to see you guys and for your listeners to come on out. It's going to be, we're going out to the bar right afterwards. So
I got this, you usually don't share messages, but I got this little message over from Robert that's, talk about the events, really just being excuses to see old friends to get Jersey Shore drunk. I'm all about it, dude. I'm about it.
let's go.
And so, like I said, I mean, if you get out there, I'm going to keep the scroll up all night, so you get the one. I'll keep posting the other, so you know where to check it out if you're in the area, 'cause if you watch the replay, if you're friends with Robert. And I hope to see like some past Lower Moreland people out there as well. Maybe come on and check you out and check out the book. And you're going to be signing it all as well?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Signature, and like I said, we like to collect memorabilia, so even though you're nice enough to send me a copy, I like to get a copy, get your autograph on it, and put it in my stash for great memorabilia I've had, because you're established, man. Your story is amazing, and I hope the world gets to read it, because we really had a thrill tonight talking all about it.
Well, thank you both. What a pleasure, and I'm just really grateful, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Robert Kerbeck, everybody. Again, www.robertkerbeck.com. Get your copy of the hot new book, Ruse. It's exciting. The stories are great. Rob, have a great night. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
That was great. And, like I said, leading into it, like I knew his brother pretty well, and we talked, and he said he went to high school with my brother, but I never really knew Robert that well. And you look at his pictures and everything looks really good, and here's this guy who is a millionaire and a corporate spy and an actor, and I'm like, man, like, how's he going to treat us? Like, are we going to be like piss ants? But he was like great, man. It was perfect.
I mean, Philly people. I don't.
Right.
Think, what's the saying? You can take the Philly out of the girl. You can take the girl.
You can take the girl out of Philly, but you can't take the Philly out of the girl.
There you go.
And the funny part about it, there's a side of, like I said, that one guy gave it a bad review, and it made me laugh, because there can easily be ego, but he's so humble about his ability. He's like, I don't want to be a car salesman. Like, all you did was lie. As he made great success as a liar. So it's just, not a liar, but I mean, just.
What actors are? They're the best liars. Like, how can you just go out there and be someone else? You're lying.
Right.
Hey, and improv. I don't think we touched on that, but it was such a big deal to his game and the acting game is improv. And, you see these, I mean, how many people watch the reels and people just going off and improv? And it's a skill. And it's not had by many. Exactly.
And that's kind of the thing that always makes you laugh, because I type out these questions and have other questions. There's so many things I wanted to ask that, like I said, I don't like to
story. I was like, oh my god! But
I don't like to overdo the 30-minute time limit. I tell people 30 minutes, and you want to kind of keep them to that. And
I know.
Like I said, I could probably listen to that for hours. And I don't want to ask him how far he got with J-Lo, because his wife might be watching. But
well, it happens with the best interviews. We could just go on forever.
Exactly, and that one was great, and I would love to do it again, have him back on if more books come out. And again, I'm going to keep the scroll down the bottom. It's Ruse, lying, the American Dream from Wall Street to Hollywood. I did want to ask him, too, and I didn't get to that either, about like some social media and how, we look at social media and it paints a picture of you, and it's so easy nowadays to not really fake your way through life, but be somebody different than people expect you to be.
Well, yeah, like how many people lie every day on social media?
Exactly, and I was going to touch on that. Was it Inventing Anna? Was that the show, Inventing Anna?
Yeah, well, I watched the real documentary. Did you watch the show that happened?
I watched the show more or less by accident, because my wife watches everything. And she's in bed. My buddy kept saying, Inventing Anna, and I'm like, never heard of it. And then she starts watching. I'm like, all right, this is just garbage. And I'm like, all right, well, let me.
Just talked her way into trips.
Everything.
And money. How does this happen? I'm a princess. Hey, everyone. I'm a princess, so just spoil me. But what I didn't understand is, like, how she got there. Like, they went on that very expensive trip, and she brought along that girlfriend. And then pinned it on her. Like, how do you even get to that point? Like, the plane ride alone must have been. I don't know how these people do it. Like the Tinder swindler.
The
Do you
Tinder.
know about that dude?
Yeah.
Like, you are broke. How do you do this?
I've been broke before. I don't understand. And you're watching her, and by the end,
I meet some ramen in the kitchen in the freaking Chef Boyardee.
no, she was using ramen to trade off phone time, so don't be giving secrets away. But
Crazy.
But by the end, she's so powerful from being nothing that they're holding up court until she has the right outfit on,
And she's not even cute. Like,
She's not!
Good looking, but like the real person. I mean, it's Ruth from Ozark, but like the real person was not cute. To like get away with all that I could see like a beautiful woman, like a siren, swooping in and like, brainwashing all these people, but like she was just dumb and she had a horrible accent.
I could see me getting away with it because
Right.
I'm pretty sharp, very attractive. Again with the these real quick. 619 South 2nd Street in Philadelphia, Tuesday, March 22nd at 6:30. Robert Kerbeck will be there. In conversation with Joe Piazza. So that's very cool. We're going to talk about the book. He'll be there to sign it, as he said. There'll be copies of the book. So that's very exciting. And then he will be at Main Point Books Saturday, March 26th at 3 p.m. A live in-store signing of the book Ruse, The Lying American Dream, from Hollywood to Wall Street. Mr. Robert Kerbeck. We got to go to butts here. We got to go to butts everywhere.
Everywhere.
Wow. So already bought it. That's excellent. I'm telling you.
Job.
You're going to love it. I want to get deeper into it. I cheated and read some of the crib notes that some of the critics did, but, I've got it here, and I'm excited for it as well. It's such a great story. Like I said, it's a Hollywood name dropper. Like, he names names, and then he tells the story about the ruse and just life, man. And to me, it's amazing how people think on their feet. Because he said, I want to be an actor, and I needed money. So I took on this job. And next thing you know, I'm throwing out this accent, and that accent, and talking to this person, and learning this. And he's learning this on the fly. He said, because he's saying, like, nobody's really training him. He's just picking this stuff up as he goes. Pretty wild.
That is wild. I mean,
I could never do it either. I could not even imagine.
Like, I talk to people all day long from all over the country, and, they're all different, but, like, first of all, I'm not retaining anything. And I'm certainly not, I just can't think that quick. And I am just amazed at people who do and have the chops to do that kind of thing.
And the funny thing about that, when you're talking about retaining, like people ask me, I saw your show. You get the guest on, and you're so focused, and you're listening, and I'm like, yeah, well, that is why. Well, right, but that's why we invite them on here, so we know coming in we have to be focused. I couldn't imagine just throwing this on one day, like, hey, let me go on StreamYard, and having somebody come on me and be like, yeah, so what do you do? And actually, like, knowing it and trying to remember it. When you prepare for it, a little easier. But there, like I said, there was times you just had to jump on somebody's phone and get this guy's phone and improv where he's at and get to the next guy. That's crazy.
But like he said, he did do the research, so he was prepped.
Yes.
And ready to go. Hi.
Hello, Mr. Bear Reigns in the house. Dude, hopefully you caught Robert Kerbeck. If not, you know where to find the replays. Great story. And again, something else I want to bring up. Like, there's so many things I want to say to him. Like, Lower Moreland was a small township. And everybody in school know each other. Neat's graduating class is like 200 people. And my brother's always joking, like, a lot of people stay sheltered in there, and it's always small town unless you learn to live. So me and my brother would hang out in Philly, and we would go out to clubs and places and go down Atlantic City and just learn life. And same thing that Robert did. If you don't get out of that and you don't explore and see life, you're very susceptible to just those kind of ruses and wild scams going. You see poor people get caught all the time in the crazy scam. You're like, how? Well, how's possible? If you don't get out and learn life, it'll bite you right in the ass.
Yeah, if you stay in your quiet little town. Look at Pink. Pink was from Doylestown, and she had to drive her little butt down to Philly and, make it in the city to get out there. But it's funny because I was just watching New Girl. And I'm sorry, but Nick Miller really reminds me of you. Did you ever watch it?
What's it called?
New Girl.
A New Girl. Once in a while, because I adore Zooey Deschanel.
But Nick Miller, his personality really reminds me.
Right, I like that. He played the CEO's ego, thinking this guy was so smart that even a basic phone call, he can handle it and nobody's going to get the best of him.
Right.
And yeah, that's the thing. When you're in corporate, the more you have people under you to handle the small stuff, like field that phone call, tell that person I'm not here at Satcher. So when the call comes in, he probably like, I can handle this. Sure, I live at 123 Butler Drive. My phone number is 555-5555. Showed that guy. What the hell?
It's just insane. It's insane when you go into a company, like you walk into a company, like I got at my job last year, with the amount of training just on privacy, security, all information leaks. Like, you can't have anything anywhere. You can't talk about it. You can't do this, do that. I mean, it's there for a reason. And then you start to think about, like, crimes in the 20s and through the decades, just how aware we've become of every little thing.
Very, and we've grown untrusting, but to a good point. And even like now, like I had my beer business, I'm not anymore. I work now with Champ Beverage, and I do some beer sales, and I go to locations, meet managers, and people are like, oh, well, let me get that guy's cell phone number in case I got to contact him. Honestly, no, I don't have permission to give out his number.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't want everybody he gave it to me in confidence of, hey, if you need to talk business, not to pass it all around. And you don't think of that. You're like, oh, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a cell phone. Yet it's still like, right. Scary Today is probably because of him and others. And he mentioned the one guy that does the cyber podcasting. And is it the same? There's a guy that does the commercial for the cyber websites that you're buying on. He was a former hacker. And he said something as simple as when you go to a fast food place and the person behind the counter drops your credit card, they could just that quick swipe your credit card and copy it and give it back to you. Right, it's something that simple. So he said you got to keep your eye on everybody. The simplest of thing can lead to so many other things.
I'm sorry, but like I am the last person to do anything. When everyone was walking around with their iPods, I was walking around with my Discman or my Walkman. When people are paying with cards, like I'm still paying with cash. I'm so behind, and that's one of the things that really scared me about just using a card anywhere, because like any little swipe, like I don't have that money.
I know, right?
Don't steal from me. I don't have it.
That's the only advantage. Like if people go to steal from me, they'd be like, what? I hacked and wasted my time for that? Delete on to the next. That's my only saving grace right now.
But then I know people with like a good amount of money that get a good amount of money taken. I'm like, holy crap, that's so scary.
They're trying to do everything but like a crypto. And no, please, for the love of God, keep cash. Always keep paper cash. I like paying in cash, and when I can, I should be definitely taking cash out more because I hate.
I know. Now on my cash, I give to Joey. I'm just like, keep it safe.
Let's not give out any more ideas. I want to read this. This wasn't on the show layout, but I got to read this real quick. It's probably going to skeeve you out. But I found it so nasty because I heard this a long time ago and thought it was kind of like BS. But then somebody posted this article today, and I'm like, wow, I guess this stuff is possibly still real. Now I can't find it, of course, so I was looking for it. I heard this. 5 creatures that can crawl in your house through your toilet, and how to stop them. Number 1, snakes.
I was gonna say snakes. Can I guess?
Sure.
Okay, snakes. Alligators. I've heard that.
Actually, alligator's not on here, and it's funny because that's I can feel that.
Especially in Florida.
Number 2, and this
like
is where.
Spiders?
Well, spiders isn't really an animal. That's kind of bad. I mean, insect stuff is kind of.
Rat.
Don't leave. It's fun. Rat. Rat is on there.
Okay, I got it. An eel.
No.
Okay, I get 2 more guesses.
A couple of them are going to surprise the shit out of you, too.
A fish.
No.
Come on. A frog?
A frog is on there. Yes, very good. Frog is good.
And an axolotl.
The last 2 are going to shock you. A squirrel, which, holy shit. Well, turtle, frog. They said frog.
Oh, well, turtles have a shell. So.
Squirrel, and the 5th one, and I'm telling you what, if I'm ever tinkling or doing the other thing, and this comes out of my toilet, I will die of shock right there. A possum. Can you imagine a goddamn possum coming out of your toilet?
They're very friendly, though.
Look at the picture of that ugly thing, too. I mean, look at it.
Are they friendly? Or they eat bugs? One of those. I don't think they're friendly.
I hope they eat bugs and not dick, because if it ever comes through my toilet, I am history.
I've definitely heard of an alligator.
I guess in Florida it does happen. But I'm like, you know what? I got to read that. I don't know why.
Snake would be terrifying. Did I ever tell you? Joey
Right? Can you imagine?
Joey was a baby, and we lived on like the first floor of this duplex, and it was right by the woods. And I went out somewhere, and I came back, and there was a big ass snake in her nursery. She was days old, and there was just like a snake in the nursery.
Oh.
Did you hear about these poisonous spiders?
Oh my God!
East Coast?
I did. It's one of our topics. We'll skip to it now that you mentioned it. No, so I got so many topics here tonight. So they're 3 inches long.
They're that big.
And they're called
and they come from the sky.
Parachuting spiders. They come from the sky. Parachuting spiders. And they're supposed to not just be around here. They're supposed to like take the East Coast by storm. And, you know, the wife's always like, "Oh, there's a spider." If she says, "Oh, there's a spider," it's one of those things. I'm sorry, you're on your. I ain't going near that thing.
So I was driving up the mountains. I think it was last year, and I'm driving through the old Pennsylvania back roads, and I'm looking in the trees, and she's like, "Mommy, what's that?"
Going to the night.
And I'm looking in the trees, and all of the trees for miles are spider webs, but there's big like take over the whole tree. Like they're here.
They're actually coming from China. It's funny you said that. These spiders actually are originating in China.
So they can't hurt you. They are venomous, but they're not deadly.
Jesus.
But if you have a spider that big, I had a corn spider in my place in Fishtown, and that, I swear to God, it was the size of my hand.
Oh.
And it was yellow and black striped. Like, it looked terrifying. I'm like, I can't believe this thing is in my yard. It looked like something out of the jungle. But
did you ever see like those videos that people post on Facebook where like the gigantic spider's crawling on one and leaps at the person? Jesus Christ, man.
See that one lady in Australia? She like kept it as a pet. She's like, "Oh, this is Elizabeth. He just chills here."
No, me no like spiders. I'm the spider terminator in my house, but I don't like it. Oh God, I hate spiders.
In Australia, like, what do you do if you just wake up and that thing's on your face?
I don't know.
What if it lays eggs? Thank you.
Camel spiders. Well, just kidding. Jeez.
Goliath.
Let's try to get on to something that doesn't involve insects or wild animals or possums biting me in the asshole.
What do they want in your house? What are they there for?
No idea.
There's nothing in here for you.
There's nothing in here for you. Articles or topics or Let's Argue? Because Let's Argue was a fun one this week.
I don't know. Do we have enough people for Let's Argue?
Dressed like a giant spider and it will leave you alone. I like that. Probably not, but we might as well do the results anyway. Well, let's do topics because I always like to get these out of the way because it's always terrible. And a couple of passings, and rest in peace, of course. Wrestling legend Scott Hall finally passed away yesterday. Hall he was getting a hip replacement surgery, Joel, and apparently blood clots caused complications that led to 3 heart attacks. Like in a row, like 3 heart attacks.
Yeah.
He was on life support, and he passed away yesterday. And the sick thing about, like, I collect all these Funko Pops. So I'm looking the other day, I'm like, wow, Scott Hall is in bad shape. I'd like to have one of his Funko Pops for my collection because I've always been a Hall fan, the NWO and Hulk Hogan and all that. So a couple days ago, while he was still alive, they were $10, $15. I looked today after he dies, and the cheapest one is like $90. Like,
Wow.
Well, let's capitalize on the death of another human being. But a terrific wrestler, guy that had drug and alcohol problems. His life was a mess. He put himself back together. He got clean. He started doing the yoga thing with Diamond Dallas Page. And then, of course, apparently, like I said, his body had been breaking down, so he finally went to get the hip surgery done, and then it leads to his complications, and now gone. So Scott Hall. And another guy I couldn't believe, I found this out after it happened, a couple days after it happened, William Hurt. Longtime actor William Hurt passed away a couple days ago. And again, the story's right. The original bad guy. Was it bad? I got to look up that phrase. Everybody's putting the phrase on there. It's just hilarious. But he was the bad guy. He was Razor Ramon. And yeah, blood clots, it's scary. It happened to a couple of friends of mine. It happened to an ex-girlfriend of mine who lived in Arkansas a couple years back. And that's it. I mean, you get that blood clot, you're just gone. William Hurt, of course, passed away, and Marley Matlin came out and started talking about the story about the thing when they were married, and he said, a couple months back, like, look, we apologized about it, we moved on from our lives, we tried to get past it, and, that's how people are remembering him now that he's passed. But anyway, a terrific actor, some tremendous roles, and I didn't realize, these guys are in so many things, and last night I was watching, because I got all these new movie apps and all on my phone, Jewel. I've got more movies and TV shows I know what to do with. So last night I finally watched Black Widow, which was really good. Loved Scarlett Johansson. And he was in that, of course. Mm-hmm. And good movie. Really good movie. And
Big Chill?
What's that?
Seen The Big Chill?
Yes. Big Chill. Okay. Big Chill actually was one of his biggest roles. Like a role that really defined him.
That was one of the first soundtracks. I'm like, this is great. We watched for the first time the other night. Well, she watched parts of it. I had to kick her out. But we watched Stand By Me.
Ah, a great. You said it was your first time watching it?
All the way through. And then Joey kept popping in. I'm like, oh, you can't watch this.
Yeah, there's certain, yeah.
Hurts a lot. But we watched Stranger Things, and she absolutely loved it. And she wants to be Elle and all that thing. And it's coming out with the 4th season. So I'm like, oh, Stand By Me is a good...
A terrific movie, Stand By Me. It's one of those when we went to the movie theater, you would go with your buddies, and me and a couple buddies, like, let's go to the movies. I want to see this Stand By Me. And I'm like, it sounds kind of corny. It's a little too serious for me. But, man, from start to finish, just great. William Hurt was a terrific actor. I'm sorry?
Did you know it was a Stephen King book?
Yeah.
And Castle Rock, and it's so funny, looking at all the Stephen King, they all go back to Castle Rock, and now I have the Seasons, the novella, it's called The Seasons, and it's the 4 stories, and I read a lot of The Body, which is the book based on, now I'm starting The Shining, and then I want to read Amityville Horror, but I'm scared.
I don't blame The Shining is scary. The movie is scary.
Yeah.
So it's funny, we mentioned Stand By Me, which of course had River Phoenix in it. Mm-hmm. Who, of course, his brother was Joaquin Phoenix. And then we just talked about, what movie did we just talk about a second ago?
Big Chill.
No, the last one you just mentioned right now.
Say, Black Widow?
No, you were just talking about it.
I said the Big Chill, and then the book, and The Shining.
The Shining, right. With Jack Nicholson. So that brings us to Let's Argue.
Oh.
I was trying to improvise that, and it was getting a little sloppy. Anyway, so...
Good segue.
I tried. If I remember Jack Nicholson would have nailed it. So Let's Argue is, of course, this week we cover the best Joker. We did the best Batman. We did the best Batmobile. Here's our nominees. Cesar Romero from the classic TV show Jack Nicholson from 1989's Batman. Heath Ledger. Jared Leto. Joaquin Phoenix. Mark Hamill. And Cameron Monaghan from his portrayal of it in Gotham. Although they tried to not really tell you it was the Joker. Come on. Look at the outfit. Look at the face.
I love him.
Cameron? I think he's great. I love him in Shameless.
He's
Phenomenal.
A great freaking actor.
He's great, and I love them in that.
These are all great actors.
I love them in really, and that's where it gets to be. Like, people were blown up like, yeah, good Joker, but this, or yeah, good actor, but not Joker. And I'm like, wow, you people really do dissect.
First of all, don't shit on Jared Leto because
He's a great actor, and I'm
It's a
stoked.
different Joker, though. It's such a different.
It is.
Joker.
I'm psyched for Morbius. I want to see Morbius. Yes.
Andrew,
coming. What's that?
with Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew does his stunts.
That's right, he does. My God. You're better. See, you retain.
Some.
Right. Anyway, the Let's Argue segment coming up. Last place was poor Cameron Monaghan with 0.
Aw, I
Cameron.
give him credit. You know, I tried to watch Gotham until he got on, but I was really there for Ben McKenzie because that's my dude.
Of course.
Love him.
I actually want to go back because after seeing The Batman, I want to go back and tie
saw
in
it?
some of the Gotham stuff. Yeah, I did see it. I told you that.
You didn't tell me that.
I think,
Oh,
yeah, we
I'm-
saw
I'm-
it.
Well, I thought I was going to invite.
Well, here's what happened. We were going to get like 8 tickets, and by the time we got there was 5 available. Cassie went, and my brother went, and his wife and Christian.
God damn it. Well,
I'll-
my nephew.
I'll go see it again. I love it.
My nephew's running out. His birthday's next week, so he's running out a whole theater. So if you want to see it again,
I will definitely see it again. Dark Knight. Which one? The first one or? Well, the first one was Batman Begins. That's right. Dark Knight was.
Dark Knight is Heath.
Yes. I don't even know if he's on this list.
Yeah.
Next up is Jared Leto. He did get 2 votes as his rendition of the Joker.
He gets my vote.
I didn't care. Right, and here's the problem. You're expecting something more Joker-esque than he was. Because he's called the Joker, but it was a totally different play.
No,
And-
screw that. I think it was brilliant. I think
His-
it was Flash and, like, you know, what a gangster Joker would be. I loved it. I wish there was more of his scenes with Margot Robbie in
Oh.
Suicide Squad, but instead, it was all Will Smith, and it was very uneven, but I thoroughly enjoyed his rendition of the Joker. Tattoos
I gotta
and
tell
all.
you. Now, some people liked it.
Wow.
For me, it was, but I think we had this on. I think we had this on our top 5 list a couple weeks ago. Like somebody who has like now become synonymous with their character. And I don't know if I said Margot Robbie, but I'll be damned if she's not like Harley Quinn. Like
I said
that's.
Margot Robbie. Because she is
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, that's
the
like
cartoon. Like, I just think
Right.
of the cartoon when I see her as Harley. But him, it's such a flamboyant take on the Joker, which we're not used to seeing, but totally works at the same time. That's why I said there needs to be more Batmans and more Supermans and really more Wonder Womans, because I cannot take her anymore.
oh, I love her.
We need different versions of the same character. How about that?
I think she is well.
Something else. How about that?
I have to let her go first because I love her. I love Margot Robbie to pieces. Next up, and a guy who doesn't get enough credit because it's cartoonish, but Mark Hamill does. Whoops, Mark Hamill does a phenomenal Joker. The voice is sensational, and a lot of people say that since he gets to hide behind the comic, he can be more. Where if you're acting it, you got to like people like judge your facial reaction and judge your demeanor. Hamill could be behind the scenes and blow it up, and you know, again, typecast. It's amazing the 2 typecasts he is in life. He's Luke Skywalker
And the Joker.
and the Joker for life. That's pretty damn good.
And that's amazing. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, you know, he goes all in and he really loves it because it comes off. And you can tell when it's bullshit. But I grew up with the Batman animated series. My
Yeah,
sister was obsessed with it. Every morning it was Batman, Batman. So, you know, how could you not watch it? But his voice especially was just...
he was incredible, and
Yeah.
not very often because people's like, "Oh, what about Lego?" I'm like, Lego." Although I did like Will
They're
Arnett's
funny.
Batman. I did like Will Arnett's Batman, but the cartoons don't get enough credit, and Hamill is just possibly the best cartoon voice performance ever. It's just that good.
I would honestly take Wonder Woman, the original animated origin story, probably over the movie. It was that good.
Wow, I have not
Like,
seen it,
Ares,
and I have to
she
check it
fights
out.
Ares, like it's her whole origin with like the mascara and everything. It's very good, very funny, like laugh out loud funny. I don't think the cartoons get the props that they do. You know what we watched? Because we watch all of the DC, but the Teen Titans Go movie, that was
Yeah.
really funny. And you know what they did? They did a scene with Robin's trying to have his own movie, and he can't because it's always they did a movie with Alfred, and he's like, "What the hell?" Like Alfred gets a movie for Robin, and then they're like, "And next we have Batman's sidekick. It's the car." Then they do the car, but then he goes to the studio, and it's like, "Oh yeah, we're filming Batman vs Superman 2," and they're doing the scene, and he's like, "My mother's Martha. No, my mother's." And he's like, "Well,
Right.
my father's Tom."
That whole my mother's Martha thing is
But they
the
made
worst.
fun of it. It was hilarious. I'm like, that's really funny.
The worst ending in TV history. Joaquin Phoenix comes up next, and again, unfair because it's not the conventional Joker story. And seeing this new The Batman, there's a little piece of people, and they've said, like, I would like to see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker be thrown into The Batman, but he's not really that. He's a guy that went psycho with a laughing issue. I thought it was really good though. I liked that movie.
Is there a Joker in the new Batman?
Not yet. There is a. You got to see it. There's no. I'll tell you, there's no sign in sight of a Joker, but there's just things.
Okay.
A lot of presumptions, as you know, with these movies nowadays.
That Joker movie got that. Whew.
That was a twisted movie, and I enjoyed it.
Like moving crazy. We actually went home from the movie and we all watched Taxi Driver.
Oh, Jesus.
Very similar, with such a great one.
And the weirdest part of the Joaquin Phoenix movie, and I'll blow it next. If you haven't seen it by now, it's been a couple years, too bad.
Yeah.
But like all that time, you think he's in a happy place dating this girl, and meanwhile, they didn't even know each other. Creepy.
But wow.
God.
Dark. But that's what Batman is. It's dark. It's supposed to be dark. I appreciate the cartooniness and everything, but like originally, Batman could go very dark.
Then you will love The Batman because it's very different, and that's why I talked about it last week and right here. That's why, but it's very different. It is dark. It's not cute and campy. Right, that is a great comparison. And at the end of Phoenix's Joker, when he finally gets on TV, like wild. Johnny Cashner played the Joker. Mr. Phoenix played both. Very good.
I didn't see that.
Bringing up the rear, Cesar Romero, and all right, we all know the TV show was corny, but Romero was the one that really brought life to the show. And when you look back, I know you're a lot younger than me, but when you look back, there was a lot of like solid Hollywood actors that went on the show to play the villains. Cesar Romero, Lee Merriweather, and Eartha Kitt. Burgess Meredith played the Penguin. I'm forgetting somebody clutch. Frank Gershon played Riddler. Like really big time actors and actors got these roles as these villains, and they all were better than Adam West. I'm sorry. They all were.
It's just funny to think of a time where people are like embarrassed to play superhero. Like, didn't Jack Nicholson originally not want to play it or something?
Yes. Yeah, he was afraid to be tied in with comic book movies, and I think he saw the script and kind of liked the way the direction it went into. What's her name is? I said Lee Merriweather. She did it in the movie. It was Julie Newmar who did it on TV, and oh my God, man. I had the biggest thing for Julie Newmar. I was a little kid, and when she would come on with that Catwoman outfit, I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm starting to figure out a little difference between boys and girls here. Now, I have every episode of the TV Batman and the movie. I've got that now on this app I got. I can watch them all. The TV show's so bad.
But it's different having the, copies of it, because my niece got me the full collection of Lucy, that like I Love Lucy, and I wanted to cry. So I'm like, I didn't have it, and I was so afraid it would go away from YouTube, or not YouTube, Hulu. And she got me this seat. I love you.
Oh, Lucy.
Love Lucy.
Top
Just watched
two are.
another one of that too. The new documentary on them. It's great.
Yeah, I want to see that also. I haven't seen that yet either.
Oh, the movie was terrible. I'm talking about the real documentary. The one with
Oh.
Nicole Kidman.
Oh, you're
Trash.
not.
Trash. You know why? I figured it out. Can I say this real quick?
Sure.
Lucy didn't have Botox, so she could make facial expressions.
Right.
That was like her whole thing.
I heard, right. I remember hearing that, and, you know. Ah.
No, it makes such a difference. She was the best. Anyway.
Yes, and that's true as well, and a great point there. Actors used to beg for a spot to open the window. Like Batman and Robin would climb up the building, and a famous actor would open the window and say, "Oh, hello, Batman!" Like, and people were like actually clamoring for that little piece, and that was very cool.
Remember Superman on Lucy?
No, I don't.
Yeah, where she dresses up like Superman and she's out there with the original. I forget his name. The original Superman.
I didn't see enough. George Reeves was the original, not Christopher Reeve. George Reeves.
Him.
That's a sad story. That movie. What movie was it? Hollywoodland? What's that movie that's George Reeves' story?
I don't know.
Ben Affleck was in it. Ben Affleck.
Oh, I forget his name.
I know you do. So the top two, Nicholson got 14 votes.
Yeah.
It depends what you're in the mood for. He
David.
played He played a good, jokey, funny, sadistic Joker, but number one all day long. And people were like yelling at me, like, "Come on, don't even ask this." It's Heath Ledger. And yeah, I mean the Ledger, that's like a performance out of any. And people say, "Yeah, well, you know, this didn't make him the Joker." Oh, shut up. I mean, it's amazing.
It really was insane. Like I just.
And it wasn't like a clown face. Like it was big, bubbling scars that ripped his face into this smile. And even with we kept slapping his lip because of the grossness of the face. And even the plot was great. The story was good. And he took billions of dollars from mobsters just to burn it. Like, you know what I mean? Wow.
He did not give a shit. Like that was the most violent. The DC Marvel. He was definitely the most violent and the most graphic movie, I would say. I mean, pencil scene. Like, come on, that pencil scene happened and jaws dropped. Like there was audible. You just can't compare. That's why I won't name my favorite Joker because they all have a piece of just.
Right, the constant different stories of how he got the scars. You just don't know what to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
They're all so eerie. Like the father sticks a knife in his mouth, and just there's so many crazy stories, but so good. And you never really find out in the end how he gets the scars. And the interrogation room with Batman, or Batman's beating the shit out of him, and it doesn't faze him. It doesn't matter to him.
I'm watching right now.
Telling you. Yeah, when you see the Batman, and hell, I'd go see it with you. My wife didn't like it. She's like, eh. Well, again, she's
a murder mystery more so than
right. This is where you get Batman the detective because a lot of detective work over Batman.
I like that though. That's
right,
so cool.
and you would enjoy this. It's very good, and Paul Dano's Riddler is he's sick. He's a sick dude in this movie.
Speaking of sick, and we can keep on the movie topic. Have you seen Fresh?
No.
Talk about rusing people. Holy God. I don't know. It's a little graphic. It's a little gory. It's not necessarily scary. It's pretty disgusting, though. Fresh on Hulu. But
The scene where Heath pushes a button to blow up the hospital when he went outside Denmark. Which were, yeah, right. And that is like that would make that scene so great. Like he really is patting at it and it doesn't go off. Then it goes off and he doesn't know and it scares the crap out of him. Awesome. You can't buy that kind of stuff.
Heath.
Heath Ledger #1. So I got some other topics. But real quick, I'm going to hit you with this one. We're on the subject of DC. You're a DC person. Did you hear the thing about the Justice League is supposed to be killed off in an upcoming comic book?
No. Oh, well, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is the new video game.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah.
it's something called like the Dark Army is supposed to show up, and it's some of the like dark side and some of the most harsh villains of the past supposed to come in and defeat the Justice League and destroy the Justice League. And then they started naming names about some of the people in the Justice League, and they weren't saying like Batman, Superman. They were saying like all these other people, and I don't know what it leads into. I know you're a DC person. I thought I'd run it past you.
DC gets very weird very quick.
Yeah, I mean, in the past they've killed Superman, they have killed Batman. Relax,
Yeah, just stick to the plan, man. You have
right? Although Marvel killed off Robert Downey Jr. and is supposedly turning him into Tom Cruise. I don't know.
That's terrible too. Marvel should just go out on top. Okay, you've done it. You've done the job. I
agree.
did like Winter Soldier though. 'Cause I'm obsessed with that dude. He's so cute.
I know Bucky, and I was telling my buddy Christian was here last night, hooking up the apps and all of this new TV thing and a movie thing, and I said we're watching Black Widow and we're talking about the origins of Marvel, and he mentions Bucky. I'm like, Bucky is Tommy Lee in that new Tommy and Pam thing. He's like, he is? And I said, apparently all the ladies love Bucky. And he's like, you're kidding. But you went hog wild for it, and somebody else went all giddy for it. And I don't know.
And now he's in that new movie, Fresh. He's a cannibal. So
Is he really? Wow. Bucky.
crazy. But
Yeah, I bet you wish he'd cannibal your ass, huh?
he actually cannibals an ass. It's disgusting.
Ew! How's that? Boy. Oh man, that's he's so serious. That was horrible. I almost wish I hadn't said it. I don't even have any man cave scores. We got more though. Jewel brought this to my attention, and we're talking about Black Widow. So a Madonna biopic has been in the works for a while, and several ladies have been kind of auditioning and running their names up the flagpole for to play the role of the singer. Sky Ferreira, Alexa Demi, Odessa Young, Sydney Sweeney, who I love. These are all in that article. If you've read them, all these names are in the article. Julia Garner.
No. Florence Pugh, no. Alexa Demi, no. They just don't look like her. Sydney Sweeney, I could see. Well,
I like Sydney Sweeney a lot. I think she is
she's
smoking.
amazing.
Something
She
about
is.
her is just so
Yeah, my
different.
cousin worked with her on a
Really?
Yeah, it was like one of her first horror movies, and then she totally blew up.
Yeah, she's huge now. Like there's these.
But
You know,
Alexa Demi's on Euphoria too.
I like
Yeah,
Alexa Demi.
that's good.
Now
I thought-
Florence Pugh is who the team in the process of creating it. They want her, and I love her, and I think it as
I can't see her as Madonna though.
I can't see her as
Ruse-
Madonna either. I
and-
always see her as my baby, Yelena Belova, and I love Yelena, and I love the chemistry that
She did
her.
great as. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, no, bring it.
Oh, did you see her as Paige too in Fighting with the Family?
No,
Oh, the wrestling movie. Oh, she's
I'm-
great.
yeah, I gotta see it.
With
I
the
love
rock
her.
and everything. Oh, that's a good one. You'll like it.
I think she's very different. Where she's cute. The Russian accent that she does in Black Widow is just all kind of sexy, and she's not like built like a stick or these muscles. Like she's like a regular build, and I dig it, man. I think she's great, and like I said, the chemistry between her and Scarlett Johansson in that Black Widow movie is terrific. She's got some great one-liners.
I definitely gotta watch it. You have to watch Fighting with the Family. I got told
Yep.
I look like her, but when she plays like Paige, so she's pale with long black hair.
Well, I mean, that's like saying I look like every bald-headed guy with a beard and mustache. But like I said, like if you get, and we've said this before, and I'll say it again, if like a weekend comes around, you ain't got much going on, especially now, because I've got this app with hundreds of movies. You can watch pretty much any movie and hang out me and Cassie and come down to the man cave and have a couple
Down the
beers. And
basement.
you come down to the basement.
No, I
Yeah.
definitely have to like see her basement though, because I'm afraid.
Oh, dude, it is like there's so many. I actually just got 3 giant empty boxes and put like 50 Funko Pops into these boxes. It breaks my heart, but I've got them everywhere. And
Damn.
there's still room to walk around, and the bar is still doing this thing. So
I
We've
need
got-
some Macari tricks too, because I'm trying to order something off Macari and I cannot find it anywhere. I know they have it. I just need like the inside scoop of what I can do.
Hit me up with it afterwards. So. Or we could do that new segment we talked about where we get a P.O. box and people send us shit.
Yeah,
Remember
send
that you were
me
talking
shit.
about them? Yeah, I want to do that.
We'll send you
Badly.
shit. Maybe.
We send you shit. A New Jersey couple, while dining at the famous Lobster House in Cape May, Jewel Tatey told me, comes across a rare and valuable pearl right in their soup, dude. Like, I didn't read enough to get the value of the pearl, but
Oh, I didn't either.
it's crazy though. Like, the things that people come across, and you know right off the bat, they're probably like, well, it says in my soup, and they're probably making a big stink. And then somebody says, hey, you know what that is? Next thing you know, it's all well and good.
Yeah, that'd be great though, right? Like you
Yeah.
wonder. I mean, how many people find stuff like this? Like, what is the oddest thing you found in food?
In food?
Yeah. I found some bones and some boneless chicken the other day. I was mighty upset.
My father used to always say, make sure you tear your chicken apart because you never know. Lobster House, I love it there too. A cigar butt.
Ugh.
Yeah, you want to talk about getting sick. A cigar butt.
That's true. Once I was a child and I pulled a Yoo-hoo from the fridge and it had 2 cigarette butts in it, chilled.
Ah!
And I
Whoa.
just chugged it. But
And you
cigar-
chugged it?
Yeah, cigar has to be so much worse, man.
I didn't, luckily I didn't eat it, but.
I have a funny story. So, I used to go to the bar with my brother, and we used to come home, and at the time we were both living with my parents, and
Very.
my mom always kept a lemonade container in the fridge of chicken fat. But it was yellow. He comes home from the bar, he's like,
Oh my god.
he puked for like 3 days.
Although I like chicken fat, I can't imagine when it's petrified like that. I mean, people do it with bacon grease too. Like they store it. Oh,
Ugh.
never want to come across that. That is freaking
good.
disgusting.
So good.
I'm gonna share this picture because you know I'm a big pervert, and I'll tell you the story. There's a picture right there of Ashley Wolf, a popular TikTok influencer. So she decides to make her OnlyFans account free. Here's a cute little story. Of course, I spelled it TimTalk. So she announces that her OnlyFans will be made free for her fans to talk to her because she's lonely. So let's be lonely together for lonely fans. How cute. So her OnlyFans is now free. It went viral on Twitter. Like millions of people are blowing it up now. I guess you can't really beat that kind of PR. I don't know. Like, again, I've never delved into OnlyFans. I don't ever plan on subscribing. She's not that
Did
great.
you do it smart though? Did she make it free for like an hour, and then after an hour, everyone's just paying to?
Well, when if you
Mhm.
click the link to the story, like her link is on there. So I click it, and it still says free. Again, I'm not buying it. I don't care to be on it. I got enough problems in life. I don't need that.
Sure,
Right.
Sure.
I don't really think she's that great, but I mean, the marketing genius behind it. Because you know she's probably selling pictures.
Yeah, you gotta find the workaround, I guess, if you're in that trade.
I like the little hesitation and look down. The Yo Show is 110% free every Tuesday night. Jeff the Shark Marine and Joel Tatey.
Get this much of us. Enjoy.
Enjoy. Again, and people that have like Patreon, like, oh, sign up and pay to see us. What? No. I'm not paying to see you. I could care less.
We've been doing this for years.
Oh, Joel Tatey. Coming in a few short weeks, Taco Bell is bringing back the Mexican pizza, and I
Alright.
can't even begin to tell you how excited I am for this.
Really?
I love the Mexican pizza. What?
Mm-mm.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We've got a whole plan. You're going to come down one weekend. Me and my wife are going to watch movies. We're going to eat Mexican pizza. It's going to be a freaking blast. I love it.
It sounds like a blast.
Yeah, sounds like a blast.
I want to go to Mad Mex. I'm not far from Mad Mex. They have the best Mexican food.
I've been to Mad Mex. I like it. I still haven't tried the new one in Newtown. There's like a new taco place in Newtown.
Really?
like a bar, margaritas, and all that stuff.
I just want to get out. You know, I was planning on coming out with you guys this weekend, and I got iced in. Like, I could not even open my car. I went out there. I'm like, all right, stopping at 4. I'm going to, clear off my car. Could not even get in. There was a sheet of ice this thick. And then I called my sister who's by you, and she's like, oh, yeah, we hardly got anything. I'm like, I can't move.
Well, I told Cassie's like, you think we're going to see Jules? I can guarantee in this snow, because she's up further, like, northern than we are, she's probably stuck. And she was.
And my other sister, who's more north of me, really got hit. I'm like, damn, dude. But spring is here.
Right,
Happy
we're there.
St. Patty's Day.
Have St. Patty's Day coming up Thursday. There's plans to go out. I don't think I'm going. My wife and the gang are going to Steam. Speaking of which, I think Steam, was it this Saturday that Michael LeCompte is at Steam again?
Really?
I think so. I forget.
I'm going to find out, is Ray playing anywhere this weekend? Because I can probably convince my sisters to come out.
That'd be very cool. Have to look it up.
I thought he was going to be at the Parrot, like, after St. Patty's.
I think he is. I think he's coming back to the Parrot.
That works.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Better get good seats this time.
I know, right? Get there nice and early. Oh, by the way, a topic I forgot to touch up on: Tom Brady unretired from the NFL. He's coming back. Another year of Tom Brady. But the funny story is, Joel, and I don't know if you heard this, because I know, like, you don't follow sports as closely as I do. So somebody went out and bought the football that was the last touchdown pass of his career for $513,000, and then the next day he unretires.
So is it not worth anything now?
Probably not. It's not his last. Austin in the house, ladies and gentlemen, from Horror Night Podcast, and a diehard Washington Redskins fan who is pissed off that Carson Wentz is now a Washington Redskin. Love you, bro. Thanks for checking in with us. Love it.
Have fun with
Carson. Horror Night Podcast, everybody.
His nickname, Whiny Wentz.
Whiny Wentz. I like that picture of him in that costume. The one on my Facebook. It's like the kid from the. I'll show you later. It's because it got so expensive. Even he had to go back to work. That's great. The game.
Yeah, is it worth anything now, or is it just
nothing? I mean, it's like, and the guy's like, how dare you? Like, hey, too bad. I
punch him in the face.
That smug bastard. I mean, all the great jokes were out there. Like, he spent a weekend home with his wife and kids and said, fuck this, I got to go back to playing football.
I hate him so much.
A lot of people do. Love you too, brother. Good to see you, man. Looking forward to some episodes of your program coming back. Check out Horror Night Podcast. You get some good guests on there. Some good horror people. And he's all about the hot chicks, so he takes after me. You know, I don't blame you there. We like having lovely ladies on our program. Speaking of coming on our program, I'm going to hit some names real quick. I forgot to put it in the link thing, but I want to tell you who we got coming on. Coming up next week is R.O.B. Rob is his name, and of course he comes from Impact. Great musician. He'll be with us next Tuesday night. Tuesday, April 5th, Tanya Fritsch, great author of the book Just the Tip. Sounds dirty, but it's more or less about the waitressing industry. Easy, Joel. It's about the waitressing industry and what it's like being a server and the brutalities of being a waitress, and some great stories there. So we have great stories tonight. We're going to get great stories then. Again, we've been waiting for a while to get her on, and she finally freed up some schedule. April 5th, Tanya Fritsch. Tuesday, April 12th, one of Jules' favorites, Jess Paul will be on the program. Actress, filmmaker, creator, artist, you name it. Finally got her to come on, and she's like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I seen this message from months ago. Oh my God, I really want you to come on. So Jess Paul will be on the show April 12th. April 19th.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, I'm geeked. I promise to behave this time.
We have to prepare this time.
No marijuana smoking, no shots, no over drinking. The return of the one and only Miss Brianna Dale back to our program on April 19th. Been a while, you know. She said she's been laying low. She's had a baby. So we're going to talk a little bit about motherhood and just what she's been up to. She is gorgeous. Probably one of the most gorgeous and sexy women in the world. I absolutely love her. But not only that, she's such a spirit. And for all you who are fans, bam! There it is. Still have that foursome picture.
And she'll be that.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'll update it, all right. That baby updates me. But that is April 19th, the return. Bear Rains, excited dude. Yeah, she's also super cool, and hopefully more great stories for us.
She has had the craziest stories I think we've had thus far.
And the good thing is now the audio is a lot better, and we're a little more in sync with the whole StreamYard thing. So now we're going to have just a great old time. And, I said, I don't like to keep people over a half hour. That might be a 4-hour episode. Oh, yeah, be ready, JD Wolf 69. That is April 19th, Brianna Dale. And a former guest of ours went a little hog wild for Brianna Dale's picture. We'll talk about that later, Jewel, me and you on the side, because I think I uncovered something. But we'll talk about that later. I've got a lot of people. I actually had another commitment today for a guest, April 19th. And I'm like, ooh, unfortunately, April 19th is booked. So we'll have to look into that. But a lovely Erica Brighthill is her name. She's an excellent artist. She wanted to come on the 19th. We're going to get her on a little later. And some people are coming back out. Barbara Blackstone, who was supposed to have one right when COVID came out. She was supposed to come in the studio. Couldn't have her. Now she's got a new album coming out, and we'll talk to her. We're going to set a date for her.
2 years later.
I know, right? But, hey, man, crazy. Right. But some great artists, Jexa Ingham, who was supposed to do our Christmas show a couple years back, had technical difficulty. She actually just sang the national anthem in a NASCAR race. She's got a single coming out. She's a local girl from Delaware. We're going to have her on in the upcoming weeks.
She hosts oh my God, she hosts karaoke nights, right? Like, we should go see that.
Yeah, no, we definitely should. She is so cute, and she's such a good singer. She's such a sweet girl. So I absolutely love her. So we're trying to arrange it. She's like, I work the karaoke thing Tuesdays, and I like. No offense to the 2.0 crowd. 2.0 is going to come back, but there's certain guests I keep just for Jewel. Shh, don't tell anybody.
I know, and now I have softball on Wednesdays now. So
I know, but I said Wednesday, and I try to keep it all for Tuesdays, and I just want to bring our audience more shows, and it's not like, I love doing it with Jewel. I love the Yo Show on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights with 2.0. Just bring new people that are new to podcasting or webcasting, to get them in there and get some new audience and get some guests on that we can't fit in on Tuesday nights in our regular schedule. So plenty to come. Stay tuned. The Stoop Radio Network on Facebook, www.theyoshow215.com, YouTube at The Yo Show, Instagram at The Yo Show. Check it out. A lot of stuff coming up. Awesome night tonight. Gigantic. Thanks to Mr. Robert Kerbeck. Again, www.robertkerbeck.com. The brand new book is Ruse, Lying the American Dream, From Hollywood to Wall Street, is out right now. You can get it on his website that I just announced. You can get it on Amazon Books. And you can meet Robert at Head House Books, 619 South 2nd Street, Tuesday, March 22nd. Thank you very much, and thank you for tuning in. It's great. I love having people that come in, watch, enjoy, comment, because we love sharing your comments. So if you got friends that want to watch and be a part of it, we share the comments, we talk it up. We always have a great time. That second place, Robert did tell me to make sure I pounded home the live appearances since he's coming back to his hometown. Main Point Books, Saturday, March 26th at 3 p.m., 116 North Wayne Avenue in Wayne, PA. Get a copy of Ruse, get an autograph, take a picture with Robert, and hear him talk about the book. Bear Rains, good seeing you too, dude. Absolutely, thank you very much. Jewel, any parting words of encouragement?
Have a safe week. Make good choices. Don't drink and drive. I find that Lyft is cheaper than Uber, but still not great.
Yeah, a little bit.
So yeah, be careful out there, people, and have a great holiday week and weekend.
Yes, please be careful Thursday nights, St. Patty's Day. I mean, it's a big day, but make sure you stay safe out there. Thank you very much, Bear Rains. And here's the phrase I've been looking for earlier, and I didn't like to search through the phone. In the words of Scott Hall, hard work pays off, dreams come true, bad times don't last, but bad guys too do.
Hey.
Whoops. Hey, yo. Scott Hall. Rest in peace, brother. So a great show tonight, Jewel. Thank you so much for coming back with us. Like I said, I know the schedule gets busy, and anytime, just let me know. Our audience does miss you when you're not here. I miss you when you're not here. And when you are here, we have just such a great time. And I get a lot of great feedback of you guys got such a great rapport. And how did you get, people that think like that we've been friends for like 30 years the way we talk to each other. And I'm like, it was kind of a random meet. And
now I always get, how do you know him?
I know. Yeah, exactly.
How do you know him?
How do you know that guy?
Aw, thank
Oh,
you.
we forgot to do emojis. My good friend Steve Giordano with a thumbs up. Allison Moretti. Thank you, Allison, for tuning in. She went to high school with my wife. I'll see her at my wife's high school reunion this Saturday.
Wow.
Bernard Greisel Jr. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for tuning in. I know he knows Robert Kerbeck, probably tuned in. My sister-in-law, Beth Perini, thank you. Rachel Connery, thank you for the likes, the emojis. Bear Rains, thanks for the heart. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. We're going to take you out with St. Ricketts. It's What Fire Cannot Burn at www. And I keep doing that because I'm trying to find this thing. Stop screen, share screen. www.saintricketts.com. Eric Rosso's birthday just passed. So happy birthday, Eric. I wish
Happy
that told me.
birthday, Eric.
There is David in the house. Hold on, let me cancel that real quick. David Kerbeck in the house. That is Robert's brother, of course. Like I said, we grew up in the area. And one of these times, dude, we are going to get out to California to see you. I promise you it will happen. So, David, thanks for tuning in. Robert was awesome. You're awesome, dude. Always great to talk to you and hear from you. Thanks to everybody that tuned in tonight. We had a blast. We always do. Here, yeah, St. Ricketts. Make us famous. Let's get the guys' music on here. And that's the other reason I like to do 2.0, because I like to play Catalyst, too.
Yeah.
I love their music, and they got new stuff. They're so close. Like, where is
Come on, man. Let's go. Let's just get out there.
Where is it?
Free.
See, look at this. Free beer. There it is. Where's it? Free beer. Come out soon. Free beer.
Like a kegger in the park. People
Yeah, I like it.
If you play it, they will come.
Angela Marie at the last moment. Angela, yo, thank you for tuning in. Did a little 2.0 talk, and we'll be doing that soon. Angela likes to do some appearances with me, and I hope to see you this weekend, Angela. We mentioned about a little dinner thing, so hopefully that pulls off Friday. As of right now, we're right on target. So we will talk to you then. Jewel, I will talk to you probably in 2 minutes with a random text. I know you like to get right off the phone here. You actually hung out. It's 10 after 10. I still got you clinging there. I know, it's like a success story. I'm very proud of myself. Let's have everybody say hi to each other first, and then we'll let Jewel go pee. Again, St. Ricketts, www.saintricketts.com. Robert Kerbeck, our guest this evening. Thank you so much. And we'll see everybody next Tuesday night with ROB in the house. Woo. Start from the beginning again. Let's make sure the volume's turned up. And go.
Poison deeper than you know. point of it, just to reach new heights of low. So